Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, welcome to you. I'm Jane and my husband Mike is behind the camera. We're British, early retirees, debt and mortgage free, and living a thrifty, frugal and money saving life on a super tight budget here in Brittany in northwest France. And every Wednesday we open a home and invite you in for a midweek money chat. Let's take a look at what's got my goat this week. Have you noticed whenever frugality or money saving is presented on TV, they do so negatively? They always use words like cheapskates and super scrimpers and penny pinchers, and it's never really shown in a positive way. And often people are shown to be ridiculous or extremist. And so often these TV shows, they're not at all educational, but they are primarily entertaining. And I think there's a real negativity out in the world about frugality. And that's what we're going to have a chat about today. We're going to have a chat about where has that negativity come from? When did it become a bad thing to save money? And wait for the end, because we're going to talk about all the positives that we feel as frugal people. Many of us, like me, we sit there shaking our heads, don't we, thinking to ourselves, well, we live in a funny old world, don't we? And then actually, we shouldn't be surprised. We shouldn't be surprised that any thrift or frugality or frugal living is shown in a sensational way, in a distorted and exaggerated way, or in some way of entertainment. No, we shouldn't be surprised. Because on the same side, flip it round, we're often asking, aren't we, why isn't budgeting taught in all schools? Why isn't affordable home cooking taught in all schools? Why isn't home maintenance and mending and making clothes or making your own curtains, why isn't that normal and taught in society and taught in our schools? Why isn't growing your own food taught in all of our schools? You think these are necessary skills, wouldn't you? You'd think to yourself, why isn't everywhere teaching this? Because in simpler societies, in more communal societies, these are very, very much taught in and around that community. But in what we call a modern, convenient society, they are not taught. And we think about that, we don't have manufacturing in the way that we once did in our modern societies. We've given all that dirty work to other people in other places, haven't we? So we've turned into service economies. So we need people who can't cook, who can't mend things, who can't clean their own homes, who can't look after their own children, who can't sort their own faces and hair out. We need people who can't cut their own grass and can't clean their own windows, who can't fix their own cars. We need people to do that so we can keep the few people that we do train to do those things going in a service economy. And then we tell people, oh, it's time saving. Well, what are they saving their time for? We have grown men and women, grown men and grown women sitting there night after night after night, paying TV channels, pay-per-view subscription channels, or gaming, as an example, sat there night after night after night, saving time, not mending, not cooking. We do often ask ourselves, why aren't these skills taught? Well, we could be a bit cynical and go, that's why. So here we are in the middle of a cost of living crisis, and you would think at this moment in time that we would see now TV shows all about saving money, making your own food really cheaply. And when they do have TV shows about what they call affordable food, think to yourself, well, I couldn't afford that. That's not affordable. I definitely couldn't afford to make that. We're not seeing the TV shows about make, do and mend. We're not seeing anything about growing your own food. We are not seeing that. So that same old message about spend, spend, spend is still there. Still those proliferations of lifestyle, where you should travel shows, and I like to watch them, and I watch travel shows vicariously because I'm not going to these places. I watch cooking shows vicariously because I'm not affording this. I watch doing up your house programs because I am not doing this. So it's not about education, it is purely about entertainment, and most of us can't afford this. So where is the message? Where is the message that we should all be saving money? Where is the message that we should actually not be spending? Because it's not. We're still seeing people, queues of people going in and out of restaurants, queues of people buying takeaway food, queues of people still engaging in fast fashion. It's still there. And why is it still there? Because it is still being promoted as normal. And there's nothing wrong with normal. These people aren't doing anything wrong. These are not bad people. People sitting there night after night watching pay-per-view channels. These are not bad people. All they are doing is following social convention and social conformity. They are not bad people, and don't think I'm saying they're bad people. It wasn't always like this, was it? I'm 57 and I have lived through a very different world. They actually call us Generation X, don't we? We were brought up with people who lived in a pre-digital world, who did everything manually, who cut things, who chopped things, who grew things, and we learnt from them. And we in turn can pass that on to the next generation beyond us. But lots of my generation are not passing it on. They are rejecting that from the past. They're not doing anything with their hands. They just want leisure time, leisure time, leisure time. And as I've said, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. These are not bad people. They are not doing anything wrong. But I do want to share with people that this fast food, fast fashion, change things, buy new, do up your house is really new. It really is. I was just remembering that in the 1980s we started to see pizza restaurants, that we started to see fast food, and before that we did not see it. We might have seen it in major cities. In major cities around the world you might have seen those chains of restaurants that we just didn't see in rural, areas, and we didn't see it in the suburbs. The only takeaway that we saw was a fish and chip shop. And even those things of pies and sausages that you now see in fish and chip shops, you didn't see that. It was fish, fish or fish. You know, it was an enlightened modern world when the battered sausage turned up in the 1980s. May have been before that, but not in the rural areas that I lived in. So we cannot be surprised, can we, that this whole word frugality, money saving, thrift and all of that is frowned upon because it's a whole new world, isn't it? And it's all about spending and spending and spending. But we're here, aren't we? We frugals, we thrifty people. We're not going away. We found our own little place. We found our own little tribe. We found our own little corner of the universe, and we're really quite happy here. Why are we happy being the minority? Why are we just happy all together? And why do we ignore the name callers and the naysayers? Have you ever seen any films of those social conformity experiments? Most of the time people will comply, but there's always an exception to the rule. And whenever there are people who do not comply, so there's a whole room of people who get up or get down when the bell rings or when something happens, and you'll see them doing this. You'll see them looking around like this, like, what are you numpties doing? Why are you all doing this? And we always think that that person is going to have the other people say to them, join in, but they don't. So actually, those of us who don't join in, we're not doing anybody any harm. And also we're not bothering the other people who are joining in. And we've got a great confidence about this. And we're also living inconspicuously. We don't need to go to work and go, hi, over here, look, I'm reheating my leftovers. We just get on with it. Some people might notice. We also don't feel the need to tell people who don't want to know. We don't try and bang on about it to other people. people come to us. People come to me on a very regular basis. I get emails, I get personal messages, I get people who quietly come and speak to me and want to ask me questions about frugal living, or what would you do in these circumstances? So they're looking for advice or help in a very subtle or inconspicuous way. So we've also got our natural confidence about our choices, haven't we? And that leads on to what I'm going to say about why we are so happy. Now, I know there are so many of you out there who really do enjoy every aspect of frugal living, and I know that because you share it with us on our Facebook page and here on the channel. I know you love canning, I know you love growing your own vegetables, I know you absolutely love buying things secondhand and finding those bargains and saving money that way. I know you love fixing things, I know you love fixing your car, and I know you love doing all those rural things, from hunting to fishing to preserving food. I absolutely know you love making your own gifts. You love cooking your own food. You love having a store of food on hand, so if there's ever bad weather or you're sick or you're suddenly short of money, that you have prepared for that. I know that you really enjoy the fact that you've paid down your mortgage, that you've saved for your retirement, that you've got no debt, or you're actively paying off that debt. And here in this wonderful sharing frugal community, as small as it may be, that we get immense pleasure from that. Well, thank you so much to everybody who's made it this far in the video and watches us. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who hits the like button, to all subscribers, old and new. Just leaves me to say, on behalf of Mike and myself, we'll see you again soon. Goodbye for now.